There comes a moment in life, quiet, uninvited, almost weightless, when something deeper than pain touches you, not with violence, but with truth. Not the kind of truth you read in books or scroll past on a phone, but the kind that sits behind your eyes when you're alone at night and everything feels hollow. Like a theater after the show, lights off, chairs empty, soul exposed. That's when it begins. The unraveling, the silent confrontation with the truths we were never taught to name. The first truth: life is not long. It's not even medium. It's a flicker, a spark, a match struck in the dark. One day you're 5 and laughing at clouds. The next you're 25 and scrolling through people's lives, wondering where your own went. You were never promised time, only the illusion of it. And in that illusion, we waste the very essence of what we were meant to become. We bargain with hours like we own them, but they slip, don't they? Between plans, between jobs, between distractions. The older you get, the louder the silence becomes between seconds. You start to see that most of what you do isn't living, it's avoiding. Avoiding fear, failure, loneliness, mortality. We aren't scared of death, we're scared of dying without meaning. But meaning doesn't arrive. It's carved, it's sculpted through attention, through presence, through living like each breath is not an accident. And then comes the second truth. You are not what you own. The clothes you wear, the home you live in, the job title on your LinkedIn profile, none of these are your soul. But we let them speak for us. We let them become us. We speak in currencies of attention and possessions, desperately hoping someone sees us beneath it all. But the paradox is clear. The more you own, the more you need to maintain. And the more you maintain, the less space you have for who you really are. Our generation wears status like skin, filters like armor, and yet deep inside, we feel naked, empty, because you can't decorate emptiness with things. True identity cannot be bought, built, or broadcasted. It's the quiet strength of knowing who you are when no one's looking. It's character, not currency. It's integrity, not impressions. And when that is stripped away by loss, by failure, by failure, left with your soul staring back at you in the mirror, that S where the third truth begins to echo. Pain is the gateway to everything you truly want. We run from it, we numb it, we label it, but we forget pain is not punishment, it's a portal. No one becomes wise without suffering. No one becomes strong by comfort. Ask anyone who has achieved something meaningful and they'll tell you. The nights of doubt, the mornings of despair, the rejections, the betrayals, they weren't detours, they were the path. The success you crave will not come to the version of you who wants to escape discomfort. It will arrive only to the version who's willing to be reshaped by it, who's willing to burn, because the truth is, everything worthwhile demands a death. The death of your ego, the death of your excuses, the death of your fantasies. You don't grow when life is easy. You grow when you're forced to rise in pain you didn't ask for. That's the soil where grit is planted, where faith becomes real, where discipline blooms. And just when you start to feel like maybe you've found your rhythm, maybe you've healed enough to trust the flow of life again, the fourth truth arrives like lightning. Everything can change in an instant. A diagnosis, a phone call, a betrayal, a goodbye. Life doesn't knock, it barges in. And in that chaos, you discover whether your piece is real or performative. The unpredictability of life is not a glitch in the system, it is the system. And if you live as though tomorrow is guaranteed, you'll always be surprised by how fast it vanishes. So what do you do with that? Do you panic? Do you plan? Or do you surrender not in weakness, but in wisdom? Because the wisest people aren't the ones who know what's coming. They're the ones who can meet the unknown with open eyes and a steady heart. They're the ones who live each moment with reverence because they know it might be their last. That's the beginning of freedom, not control, but acceptance. The fifth truth emerges gently beneath all of this. Change is not the enemy. It is the nature of life. Seasons don't apologize for shifting. Trees don't mourn their leaves. Yet we resist. We cling. We suffer. Not because life changes, but because we wanted it to stay still. But nothing that breathes was meant to be still. Stillness without growth is stagnation. And most people are not stuck there refusing to evolve. They fear letting go because they confuse change with loss. When in reality, change is the bridge between who you were and who you're meant to become. You will outgrow versions of yourself. And yes, it will hurt. But isn't that what rebirth feels like? And so, when you take all these truths together, the brevity of life, the hollowness of possessions, the sacred role of pain, the chaos of change, and the necessity of transformation, what are you left with? A call, not from the outside, but from within. A whisper that says, live, not someday, but now. Be less impressed by how others see you and more devoted to how your soul feels in silence. Don't chase safety, chase sincerity. Don't wait for a sign, be the signal. Wake up and choose a life that costs something, because anything that doesn't cost your comfort will never build your character. Let go of the need to be understood and choose instead to be honest. Let go of the illusion that time is abundant and choose instead to treat every second like it matters, because it does. The people you love won't be here forever. You won't either. And that's not morbid. That's sacred. That's what gives life its pulse. So forgive quickly, love fully, stand still often, and suffer well, because pain with purpose is the holiest teacher of all. And maybe, just maybe, you'll look back on this life not with regret, but with gratitude. Not for how easy it was, but for how deeply it asked you to become real.